The autumn fairground smelled of kettle corn and wood smoke, but laughter thinned the moment Trigger, the sheriff's K-9, lunged toward the abandoned suitcase. A hush rolled through the crowd as the German shepherd's bark cut through fiddles and chatter. Parents pulled their children close. Sheriff Cole Hamlin's hand instinctively went to his holster, though he hadn't drawn his weapon in years outside of training. Small towns like Merrill Creek weren't built for spectacle. Yet here they were, half the county frozen around a single piece of luggage that no one claimed. No one admitted touching. And no one wanted to open. If you enjoy these kind of slow-burn thriller stories, your support means a lot. Liking and subscribing helps keep more of them coming. Trigger's hackles rose, his paws digging into gravel as if the earth itself might give way, his teeth bared and short, clipped barks that echoed off the clabbered booths lining the square. Cole tightened the leash, voice firm but measured. Trigger, down. The dog obeyed, but reluctantly, his chest heaving, eyes locked on the scuffed leather case propped against the leg of the carousel. Whispers rippled. Somebody lose their luggage? Not here. Not like this. Cole scanned the crowd. He knew almost every face. Neighbors, farmers, mechanics, the school librarian. Their gazes darted away when he lingered too long, as a possession could be caught in an accidental glance. Beside him, Deputy Marla Quinn scribbled in her notebook, though her sharp eyes betrayed curiosity rather than procedure. She was 32, too ambitious for this sleepy town, and too restless to sit quietly in Cole's shadow. You thinking what I'm thinking? She asked under her breath. Probably not, Cole said, jaw tight, because what Cole was thinking had nothing to do with duty. His mind had leapt straight to his brother, Jared, the kind of man who left messes behind like breadcrumbs. The kind of man who might have thought an unattended suitcase was a good place to stash something best forgotten. But Jared had been gone 2 years. Disappeared. Some said he'd fled debts. Others whispered prison. Cole never spoke of him. Trigger growled low, pulling Cole back to the present. Crowd spooked, Marla said. We can't just stand here. Cole nodded. Get everyone back 50 feet. Rope it off. As Marla moved to herd the curious onlookers, Cole crouched by the suitcase. The leather was cracked, stained darker in spots like it had been left in the rain, or something worse. The handle frayed, nearly tear away. No tags, no initials. The dog whined. Easy, boy, Cole murmured, though his own chest had begun to tighten. A man stepped forward from the thinning crowd. Thin, wiry, maybe 50. His sun-leathered face was hidden beneath a sweat-stained cap. That there's mine, he announced, voice trembling more than he meant it to. Cole rose slowly. Your suitcase? Yes, sir. The man nodded. Too fast. Left it when I went for a corn dog. Didn't mean nothing. Trigger lunged again, teeth snapping inches from the case. The man flinched. Cole studied him. The nervous swallow. The faint tremor in his hands. The way his boots shuffled back, as if the suitcase had grown teeth of its own. What's your name? Cole asked. Ray Collins. Cole knew Ray, a drifter who worked odd jobs when sober enough to swing a hammer. The town tolerated him the way you tolerate a stray dog that bites only once in a while. You telling me this is yours? Cole pressed. Ray nodded, adamant. Yes, sir. Marla returned, arms crossed. Funny, Ray. You came in with nothing but that busted jacket. I was working the gate. The crowd stiffened. A murmur passed like wind through tall grass. Ray's face paled. You calling me a liar? I'm saying you're nervous as hell for someone claiming his own bag. Cole's pulse thudded. He hated theatrics, hated drama that turned neighbors into enemies. But he couldn't ignore the truth etched on Trigger's tense frame. Dog didn't lie. Open it, Cole said. Ray blinked. What? You say it's yours, then open it. Prove it. For a heartbeat, the fairground seemed to lean in. Children craned. Adults held their breath. Even the carousel operator cut the music. Ray licked his lips. His eyes darted toward the X of the square, then back to the suitcase. He bent, fingers trembling as they reached for the latch. Trigger roared, snapping against the leash so hard Cole staggered. The suitcase tipped onto its side. Something shifted inside, soft, heavy, Not quite right. A dull thud, like bone against wood. The crowd recoiled as one. Ray stumbled back, palms raised. It ain't mine. I swear. Cole's voice rang out, sharp as a gunshot. Marla, get him out of here. The deputy wrestled Ray toward the cruisers as Trigger clawed at the gravel, desperate to get closer. Cole steadied himself, his heart pounding against his ribs. He crouched again, this time pulling on gloves from his belt. The suitcase loomed larger now, darker, as if the very air around it thickened. He flicked open the latches. The hinges groaned, and as the lid cracked, a stench coiled out, sickly sweet, unmistakable. Death. Gasps erupted. A woman cried out. Someone shouted to cover the children's eyes. Cole's hand froze on the handle, every instinct screaming to slam it shut. But the lid had already tipped open, just enough for the contents to glisten in the harsh autumn sun. A bundle of fabric, blood-soaked, tattered, wrapped too carefully to be trash. Trigger whined low and mournful now, pawing the ground. Cole's throat tightened, because through the dark stains, he saw something else, stitched into the edge of the cloth. Letters. Faded, but there. J.H., his brother's initials. The fairground had emptied fast, the smell of fried batter and hay overtaken by the metallic stench seeping from that suitcase. The sheriff's tape flapped in the cool wind, yellow against the carnival's fading colors. Cole stood at the center, boots planted, but the ground felt unsteady, as though the whole town might tip into a hole he couldn't climb out of. J.H. stitched into blood-soaked fabric, his brother's name pressing against the inside of his skull. Sheriff, Marla said quietly, stepping beside him. We can't leave it out here. Her face was pale but composed, notebook tucked under her arm like a shield. She'd seen enough wreckage in her short career to know what blood meant, what cloth wrapped in deliberate folds could contain. But she hadn't seen this. Not with initials. Not with Cole frozen over it. Cole forced his hands to move, snapping the suitcase shut, the latch clicking like a coffin's lid. Chain of custody. Evidence locker. Nobody touches it until we know what we're looking at. You think it's Jared's? The word stung. He didn't answer. Ray Collins sat cuffed in the back of the cruiser, rocking in agitation, muttering half-formed protests. Not mine, not mine. Swear to God, they'll pin this on me. They always do. Marla shot a glance his way. He's dirty, Cole. If not this, something else. Why not let him fry? Cole turned sharply. Because I don't know what this is yet, and I'm not hanging a man for something I can't name. Or because of what you found stitched in there? Cole's jaw tightened. Marla held his stare, unblinking, before sighing. Fine. Evidence. Locker. But the town's already talking. Of course they were. Marrow Creek lived on whispers, carried over fences and down narrow lanes where screen doors banged in the wind. Tonight, every porch light would burn late. Every mother would lock windows. And Cole Hanlon's name would ride every sentence. At the station, the suitcase sat alone on the metal table in the evidence room, its shadow stretched by the single bulb overhead. Trigger paced outside the door, nails clicking against tile, restless. Cole stared at it too long. He could almost smell his childhood room. Pine floorboards, sweat-soaked baseball mitts, Jared cigarette smoke drifting through the window at night, when their father's belt had gone quiet. Marla's voice broke the memory. Forensics from county can't get here until morning. You want to wait? No. His hand hovered over the latch. You take photos. Document everything. We see what's inside now. She hesitated. Cole, do it. She lifted her camera. The click was sharp in the silence. Cole opened the suitcase. The stench hit harder in the clothes room. They both gagged, sleeves pressed over their mouths. Inside, the cloth bundle sagged heavy with saturation. He peeled it back. A shirt, torn, soaked, but once white. A man's shirt. Beneath it, plastic-wrapped objects layered tight with duct tape. He sliced through with his pocket knife. Photographs spilled onto the table. Dozens. Maybe 100. Faces staring back. Men, women, some children. Blurred, candid shots. Taken from distance. Some through windows, some at night. Cole's breath caught. One photograph showed him, standing outside his own house, head bent toward the porch light, unaware. Another, Marla, leaving the station, coffee in hand. She swore softly, snapping more photos for record. Her hands shook. Who the hell would? Cole lifted another photo. Jared, standing in a bar parking lot. Profile caught in a flash. Alive, not gone. The cloth beneath the photos was no random rag. It was Jared's Letterman jacket from high school, the initials embroidered when he was 17. Cole felt the ground tilt again. His brother wasn't vanished. He'd been watched, stalked, maybe worse. Marla's voice cut in, hard and low. This isn't Ray. This is someone else. Cole swallowed. Then why drop it in the middle of the fair? Why here? They locked eyes. Neither said the thought both were circling. Unless the suitcase wasn't dropped. Unless it was meant to be found. Midnight. The town had gone quiet. But Cole couldn't sit. He drove back roads with Trigger in the passenger seat, headlights carving tunnels through the dark. His hands gripped the wheel too tight, knuckles white. He ended up where he always did when ghosts pressed too close, the old Hanlon farm. The place stood hollow on the ridge, barn leaning, fields eaten by weeds. Their father's rage still seemed to rattle in the siding. Trigger whined as they pulled up. Cole killed the engine and sat, breathing in the night. A figure stood near the fence line. Cole's heart leapt into his throat. The man was tall, shoulders hunched, cigarette glowing. Jared. The name slipped out, raw. The figure flicked the cigarette, ember arcing down. He stepped back into the shadows of the trees. Wait. Cole slammed the door, Trigger bounding out ahead. But the field was empty when he crossed it. Flashlight beam cutting through only weeds and fog. The smell of smoke lingered. A broken fence rail still swayed. Trigger sniffed wildly, barking into the tree lean, but there was nothing. No footsteps. No voice. Cole's pulse thundered. He wasn't losing his mind. He'd seen him. He'd seen his brother. The betrayal. Back at the station, Marla sat at his desk, scrolling through the digital copies of the photos. Her face was tight, unreadable. You followed me? Cole asked. I didn't trust you not to run off the rails. She glanced up. Guess I was right. He bristled. I saw him. At the farm. You saw what you wanted. I know my brother. Do you? Her words were sharp enough to cut. Because half this town thinks he stole from them, lied to them, ran off leaving a trail of burned bridges. And you spent 2 years pretending he's some lost saint. Cole's fist clenched. You think he put that suitcase there? I think you can't see straight when it comes to him. And that makes you dangerous, Cole. Her voice didn't waver, but her eyes flicked toward the suitcase, toward the evidence now sealed in plastic bags. Whoever planted it wanted you rattled. Mission accomplished. He realized then she wasn't just suspicious of Jared. She was suspicious of him. Ray's confession. At dawn, Ray Collins cracked. In the interrogation room, he sweated through his shirt, voice hoarse. I didn't put it there, but I saw who did. Cole leaned forward, every muscle taut. Who? Ray swallowed. Tall guy. Hood up. Dumped it by the carousel just before the music started. Thought it was a prank. Till the dog went off. Face. No. But Ray licked his lips. Walked like someone who knew the place. Not a stranger. Marla crossed her arms. You'll say anything to get out of cell. I ain't lying. I seen that walk before, long stride. Left foot dragged a little. Like he's still favoring some old break. Cole froze. Jared had broken his leg junior year. Car accident. Limp never fully left. Ray's eyes darted between them. What? You know who I'm talking about. Cole rose abruptly, the chair legs screeching. His skin crawled. Seeds of doubt. He paced the station hallway after, Trigger shadowing him. Sunlight spilled through dusty windows, painting long bars across the floor. If Jared had planted the suitcase, why? To taunt him? To send a warning? To draw him in? And if Jared was alive, what else had he been doing all this time? Cole thought of the photographs. Faces cataloged like prey. His own. Marla's. The whole town. He thought of Marla's eyes, sharp with doubt. She didn't trust him. She might not trust him enough to keep him sheriff much longer. And part of him wondered if she was right. The twist in the dark. That night, Cole returned to the farm again. He told no one, brought Trigger his flashlight, and the gnawing certainty that answers waited there. The barn smelled of mold and hay dust. Boards creaked underfoot. Trigger sniffed furiously, tail low, ears pinned. In the loft, beneath a tarp, Cole found another suitcase. Identical leather. Same cracked handle. Trigger barked once, sharp and final. Cole pulled the tarp. His flashlight beam fell across the case. A note was taped to the top, written in black marker, block letters. Stop digging, Cole. Or the next suitcase holds someone you love. His chest hollowed. The barn felt smaller, darker. Trigger growled, body rigid. Cole reached for the latch, hands trembling, then froze. Behind him, the barn door slammed shut. The barn swallowed the sound of the slammed door. Dust cascaded from the rafters, dancing in the beam of Cole's flashlight. Trigger spun toward the noise, snarling, claws scraping wood. Cole's pulse spiked. Who's there? The silence stretched. Only the wind outside whined through the crackboards. He edged backward, keeping the suitcase in sight, flashlight cutting arcs through the gloom. Trigger paced tight circles, his body drawn taut like a tripwire ready to snap. Then footsteps. Slow, measured, from the shadows of the lower level, a figure stepped forward, the face in the dark. Jared Hanlon, older, leaner, his face drawn by nights without rest, but unmistakable. Same crooked smirk. Same eyes that once lit up every room and later burned every bridge. Cole's throat clenched. You son of a bitch. Miss me, little brother? Jared's voice was calm, but carried an edge like barbed wire coiled tight. Trigger lunged, barking, but Cole snapped a leash. Down! His voice cracked against the barn silence. Jared chuckled, though there was no warmth in it. Still got him trained, I see. Cole steadied himself. You left. You vanished. Now you plant your trash in the middle of the fair. Drag this town into your mess. My mess. Jared stepped into the light, jaw tight. You don't know the half of it. He gestured toward the suitcase on the loft floor. You open that, you drag yourself in deeper. They told me to warn you off. Cole stiffened. They? Jared's smirk faltered. Shadows crossed his face. Men you don't want to meet. Men who don't forgive. Brother against brother. Cole kept his distance. You're being hunted, so you drag me into it? Into this town? Jared's eyes glinted. You think Merrill Creek is safe? That people here are clean? Half those photographs. You think I took them? Someone's been watching me as long as they've been watching you. Cole's stomach twisted. He thought of the photos on the evidence table, his own face, Marla's. Townsfolk caught in moments meant to be private. Jared's voice dropped. This isn't about me anymore. It's about leverage. And now they know you're not just some sheriff in the sticks. You're my blood. Cole's chest tightened. Then what's in this suitcase? Jared's jaw worked, like he wanted to speak, but couldn't form the words. Finally, he said, Insurance. Against them. Against everyone. Open it. Jared's laugh came brittle. You don't want me to. Open it, or I do. Their eyes locked. Two brothers who'd shared fist secrets and a father's rage. Neither willing to blink first. Then Jared moved. Quick. Trigger lunged with a snarl. Jared kicked the dog aside, just enough to break Cole's grip on the leash. Cole dove, slamming Jared against the post, with rattling. They struggled. Fists swinging, years of buried fury spilling in raw violence. Jared caught Cole's jaw with crack. Cole drove a knee into his brother's ribs. Trigger barked frantically, circling, unable to find space to bite. Finally, Cole wrenched free, pulling his sidearm, breath ragged. Enough! Jared froze, chest heaving, blood on his lip. For a long moment, only the creak of the barn filled the air. Then, slowly, Jared raised his hands. You really going to shoot me? He whispered. Cole's hand trembled. The betrayal. Behind them, the barn door opened. Marla, her weapon drawn, flashlight sweeping across the scene. Her eyes darted from Cole's gun to Jared's raised hands. "What the hell is this?" she demanded. Cole's chest sank. "He's alive. Jared's alive. He planted the suitcase." "No," Jared snapped. "I warned you. I didn't plant it." Marla's gaze narrowed. "Then who did?" The silence pressed in. Jared looked at her, then at Cole, then back at her. "You did." Marla's jaw clenched. Cole turned, confusion slicing through him. "What?" Jared's voice steadied. "Check the latch on the suitcase. Fingerprints will be hers. She's been in deeper than you know." Cole's eyes darted between them, searching. Marla's weapon never lowered. "That's bullshit," she snapped. "Don't listen to him. He's playing you." "Am I?" Jared said, stepping slowly toward the suitcase. "Open it, Cole. See who's lying." Trigger growled, caught in the tension of two masters. Cole's heart hammered. He trusted Marla, didn't he? She'd been at his side through years of petty thefts and domestic calls. She was ambitious, but loyal. Wasn't she? Or had she been waiting for this? "Cole," Marla said softly. "He's trying to wedge us apart. Don't give him the chance." But her hand on the gun didn't shake. The second suitcase. Cole holstered his weapon with a snap. Both of them tensed. He walked to the suitcase, knelt, and flicked the latches. The smell hit again, rancid, heavy. Inside wasn't clothes this time. Not photos. Stacks of cash, bound with rubber bands. Beneath them, small plastic bags of powder. Drugs. Enough to rot a county. Cole's breath faltered. And on top, an envelope. His name scrawled across it in Jared's handwriting. He tore it open. Inside, a single photograph. Not Jared. Not Marla. Him, Cole Hanlon, standing in his office. Taken from inside the station. His blood chilled. Someone had been inside. The twist. "See." Jared's voice was sharp, urgent. "They're watching everything. They're not after me. They're after control. They planted that first suitcase to bait you, to break you." Cole's head spun. Marla's voice cut cold. "Don't you see what he's doing? He's laundering his own guilt through mystery. He's using you as a shield." Jared stepped closer, desperate. "Brother, you don't know who to trust, but I'm all you got." Cole stared at them both. The brother who vanished, the deputy who doubted him. Lies hung in the air like smoke. Then Trigger barked once. Sharp, certain, toward Marla. She flinched. Cole's chest tightened. Marla, her gun wavered. For the first time, her mask cracked. "I didn't want to go this far," she whispered. Cole's stomach dropped. "You..." Her eyes burned. "You think I'd spend my whole life in this backwater, chasing drunks and lost dogs? I had an out. Deals with men who could make me more than this." Jared was supposed to disappear. "But you," her voice caught. "You were never supposed to find the suitcase." The betrayal slammed into him harder than any punch Jared had thrown. The fire. Marla's gun shifted. Toward Jared. Trigger leapt, teeth sinking into her sleeve. The shot cracked, bullet sparking against metal. She screamed, thrashing, but the dog held fast. Cole lunged, tackling her to ground. The gun clattered away. Jared kicked it, sending it skidding into the shadows. They fought, desperate, until Cole pinned her, cuffs snapping around her wrists. Her chest heaved. Her eyes were wet, not with fear, but rage. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "They'll come for you next." Cole's hands shook as he hauled her upright. The weight of betrayal pressed heavy on his chest. Aftermath. By dawn, Marla sat in a holding cell, silent now, eyes cold. Jared stood in the hallway, leaning against the wall, his smirk gone. "You can thank me any time," he muttered. Cole faced him, exhaustion pulling at every muscle. "You think this clears you? You disappear for years, then show up with your hands dirty and your pockets full of ghosts? You're not free, Jared. You're part of this whether you admit it or not." Jared's smile was bitter. "Maybe, but so are you now." Cole turned away. The quiet resolution. That night, Cole sat on his porch with Trigger at his feet. The town was restless. He could feel it in the hush between cricket calls, in the way headlights slowed on the road, in the murmurs drifting from porches. The suitcase lay locked in the evidence room, its contents too heavy to carry alone. He sipped cold coffee, staring at the horizon where the farm silhouette cut against the stars. Somewhere out there, Jared was still moving pieces, still hiding truths. Marla's betrayal stung worst of all. Trust fractured, something he might never fully repair with anyone again. Trigger shifted, resting his head on Cole's boot. The simple weight steadied him. Cole whispered into the night, words no one but the dog would hear. I'll keep this town safe, even if it kills me. The wind carried the scent of hay and earth, the same as when he was a boy. For a moment, silence wrapped him, heavy but not empty. The war had only begun. But tonight, just tonight, he let himself breathe,